So let me walk you through that process. So the first thing that happens is raw materials come in. So we needed to bring in the raw materials inside the shop and then protect it. A, from the outside elements, B, from theft. And we wanted to organize in such a way that's easy to find. So the first thing we did was we bought a forklift. Now, if you guys don't know this, a forklift almost triples your floor space as soon as you buy it. Because if you don't have a forklift, everything has to sit on the floor. Once you have a forklift, you can palletize it and stack it on top of each other. So we wanted to triple the size of our warehouse. So our warehouse is 15,000 square feet. So now we have 45,000 square feet to work with. So we started we welded up, being from a metal shop, we welded up our own brackets and racks, and we started posting all the aluminum and all the acrylic in the racks. So we had one door that was our incoming receiving door. And so the forklift could go in. We had to have, 10, 12 feet of space around it so the forklift could maneuver around. And then from there, we said, okay, what's the first thing that happens? Usually it's the router. Said, okay, we need to have the routers right here. Well, the routers end up being in the middle of the warehouse, and we're like, we need electrical. So we built a wall, and then we brought the electrical right down the wall from the roof. And then the second thing we did was we ended up putting a whole bunch of sound barrier around the vacuum pumps that was right against that wall. So the wall ended up being double duty, one for the electrical and one for sound density for those big router pumps. Routers are in place. We're all set. Next thing is, okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to cut, we're going to bend, we're going to shear. And so we set up our shear and our brake right nice to the router table right across the way. Then from there we said, okay, now we're moving around the building this way. So what's next? Now it's the metal shop. And in our metal shop, we said, okay, we might have a 60-foot pylon sign. We might have an 8-foot pylon sign. We might have China letters. We might have a run of interior signs in Braille. How are we going to be able to react to all these different projects, all this customization? So what we ended up doing was taking 4-foot tables, 12 to 14 feet long, and we put them all on rollers. Then the guys that worked there, all their tools were on rollers. And every single time we had a project, we could literally take and slide the tables like an accordion, turn them sideways for an assembly line, turn them this way so you're working on stuff, slide them off to the side for the big pylon sign. And this metal area was very versatile for whatever project we needed. Then from there, we had the paint booth. We wanted to keep it indoors, and so we kept it on the right-hand corner. We have both paint systems that we use in the sign industry. So we have Matthews and we have Axel Noble. Those are all set up clean for different various reasons. We have them both there. And then from there, you come over to the assembly line. The assembly line has all our LEDs, silicones, nuts, bolts, rivets, all the fun stuff to assemble the project, quality control. And then again, we had many racks for finished products sitting there. So when the installers came in, we could just fork off the finished product onto a pallet, put the pallet onto the truck, and our installers were off to the races, their way to go. And the beauty with that was when we did that palletization, we didn't realize how much time was spent for the installers wandering around the shop to find things. The vinyl department, they would cut the vinyl and then they just leave it on a rack in the vinyl department. Assembly would set it to the side, but sometimes they wouldn't put transformers or extra wire. So the installers would spend a half an hour wandering around the shop collecting all the pieces they needed to go do an install correctly. So by us creating a quality control and then shrink wrapping the pallet from the product, they didn't have to walk around anymore. Everything was in that pallet. So let's backtrack. Signs are doing 56 feet, right? Maybe less than 60. All the raw materials are right over here. We can see what we have on hand. At any point in time, you can come out of our production office and just literally open the door and go like this and shut the door. And you knew where every single project was and what stage it was in and how much longer before it left your shop. You could tell it was being routed, it was being cut, it was being welded, it was being painted, or it was being assembled.